What's going on, guys, and welcome to Who to Sign For. Now in this series I'm giving you my recommendations on what players to sign for a specific team in career mode. But before we go on, I will say that the signings you'll see aren't designed to be realistic, and that the player ratings and potentials of players may vary depending on what database you're using and how they perform for you during the season. Obviously you don't have to follow the tips. This is really just a set of guidelines to give you a hand if you're stuck for ideas and want some suggestions on what players you could sign for a certain club. This is mainly aimed at those who are out there who may be new to the game. I just need a little bit of advice, or for those of you out there who just want a few recommendations on what players to sign for a team that you may be using in career mode this year. So yes, in today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys, we're going to take a look at Lyon, the French side currently competing in Ligue 1. I have to say as well, they're a really fun team to do a career mode with. Now they're a 4.5-star team, and as you can see, they start with a budget of around 44 to 45 million pounds, as you always get given a very generous wage budget by the game when you start a new season. And their objectives in the first season are very simple as well. Finish in a Champions League place in Ligue 1, that's top 3 in Ligue 1, unlike the other leagues, major leagues in European football, not top 4 but top 3. Reached around the 16 of the Coupe Nationale, that's the main French cup, and also reached the knockout stages of the Champions League. So just get through your group and you'll hit that European objective. So it's a very routine expectation from the board, really. All three, both domestically and in Europe as well. You should be able to hit all three of those objectives there. Perhaps the league might be a little bit tricky. There are some decent French sides. You know PSG are going to win the league every single season, so there's only 2 spots available. It might be a little bit tricky. You've got the likes of Monaco and Marseille and so on to battle out for the 2nd and 3rd spots. But really, with this 4.5-star team, it's definitely doable. And Lyon is such a fun team to use for a career mode as well. They've got a real stadium in the game, a new stadium, and of course their kits are absolutely glorious as well. The home kit, really nice. I love the away kit, the royal blue, and the alternate kit is very nice as well. Now Lyon's team, as I run you through right here, is very well set up for a FIFA career mode as well. There is a ton of young talent at Lyon. They're known for good young talent, and there's a lot of it in the game as well. You'll probably say none better than the French midfielder Huysem. I can never pronounce his surname, but the midfielder who is really talented. You got Anderson at the back, the young centre back as well. There's a lot of young talent here, and of course the star of the team would probably be Memphis Depay as well, once of Manchester United. Now they have 2 players that are currently loaned in and 2 players that are deal to come to the end of the year. I'd recommend giving a new contract to Kalulu, the young fullback who has 81 potential, but I would let Yanga and Biwa go as he's 30 years old and 72 rated. He's one of the 4 players I put on the transfer list alongside Marcelo, Marcal and Rafael, the Brazilian players here as well. Those players are in their 30s, or in the case of Rafael, once of Manchester United, he's 28 years old, 77 rated, a backup right back, and you've already got Kenny Tate, who's a young backup right back with some decent potential as well. So let all 4 of those players go and put them straight on the transfer list. So yeah, Lyon have got a great team, man. Really fun side. They line up in a 4-3-3. Really decent team. But as for new signings with this Lyon side, with a budget of around 44 to 45 million pounds as well, I would definitely recommend improving and bolstering the back line. Now when you look at the front 3, it's really potent and very deadly. They operate with inside wingers, and on the left you've got Memphis, on the right you've got Bertrand Traore, both stepping in to shoot on their preferred foot, and the lone striker is Moussa Dembele, who will always be a consistent, reliable source of goals for you. The midfield is very well balanced as a trio as well. Of course, you've got the young talented midfielder Huysem, and of course Bruno Guimarães, a fantastic young Brazilian holding midfielder in the game as well. But the back line is the concern in the first season. Anthony Lopez, the captain, more than good enough as your starting goalkeeper for the years you'll be at Lyon, but you want to improve the back 4. Left back, centre back and right back as well. You're going to sell Rafael, you're going to sell Marcal, the 2 Brazilian fullbacks, you're going to sell Marcelo, the centre back as well. You're going to improve the back line, bring in a new left back, bring in a new right back, and bring in a new centre back as well. And primarily, I would definitely say the left back is where you want to address the issue first. No doubt about it. You know, right back you've got Kenny Tate, who's the young Dutch fullback you can play in place of Dubois, and of course you want to keep Rafael, 77 rated. That's not too bad, although I would recommend selling him in the first season. But as for after the left-back role, that's where you need to address the issue right from the get-go. And there are two targets I'd recommend for the new starting left-back role with Lyon, and they are both French players playing in the Premier League. You've got Lucas Dinier, formerly of Barcelona, playing for Everton, and of course Benjamin Mendy of Manchester City as well. Now, either of these options would be really, really good. They are both in their early to mid-20s. Dinier is 1 year older than Mendy at 25 years old. However, he is 3 ratings higher than the Manchester City left-back and gets to 86 as well. He's an absolutely fantastic player, and to bring him back to the French League, I would definitely recommend it, no doubt about it. Now, it'll be the most expensive out of the two options there. Mendy you can probably get for around 20 to 22 million pounds. Dinier you're spending upwards of 32 to 33 million pounds, probably around 35 to 36 million with a sell-on clause as well. But he is one of the most underrated fullbacks in the world, in my opinion. I'm such a huge fan of his game. Technically speaking, he is so good with the ball at his feet, a fantastic crosser of the ball, and a great fullback slash wingback to have in your team. See his key stats there: crossing, jumping, stamina, both tackling stats, and shot power as well. When going forward and when defending at the back as well, this guy's going to cause you no problems whatsoever. With high medium work rate, he'll bomb up and down the pitch with a high stamina and never get tired. 3-star, 3-star, and again, as a new starting left back, bolstering the back line, that's what you want to do with Lyon in the very first season. Dinier is absolutely class and would be an amazing signing for Lyon. So Lucas Dinier was our first signing, and again, you're spending around 32, 33, 34 mil, perhaps a little bit more than that on Lucas Dinier, but with the budget you got in the first season of around 42 to 45 million pounds, and selling some of those deadwood players in the back line as well, you'll have enough money to bring him in. If you want to go for the cheaper option, then there's nothing wrong with Benjamin Mendy. He starts off 80 rated, so he'll be good enough to go straight into your first 11 and has 85 potential as well. But out of the two of them, I would definitely choose Lucas Dinier and go all out on the Everton left back. But as for a new centre back with Lyon, as I mentioned earlier, you want to buy a new left back, a new centre back, and a new right back as well. Two great choices for the centre-back role once you sold Marcelo, and these two, once again, just like Dinier and Mendy, are both French and really great young talents. You've got Presnel Kimpembe of Paris Saint-Germain. He'll be the most expensive out of the two options here, but he is the highest rated, but also one of the most commonly signed centre-backs in FIFA Career Mode this year, and one of the best you can buy. Deo Upamecano of RB Leipzig would be an absolutely fantastic player to get. You can get this guy on the cheap as well for around 22 to 23 million pounds. He's only 20 years old, but starts off 80 rated and has 89 potential as well. This guy is absolutely fantastic. He's a physical monster. He's 6'1". He's quick. He's got great strength as well. He can jump. Great defensive stats right from the get-go. And again, with 89 potential and dynamic potential being in FIFA 20 Career Mode, there's no reason why you can't get this guy into the early 90s when he's peaking, and he'll become the best centre-back in world football. Just 20 years old, but already good enough to stride right into your first 11, partner Jason Dinier, the Belgian, and be a much stronger and safer option as part of your back four. So Deo Upamecano or Presnel Kimpembe. Kimpembe will be more expensive, but I still would recommend Upamecano. He's cheaper and he's got more potential as well. So Upamecano comes in alongside Lucas Dinier, and of course I alluded to it a moment ago that I would recommend signing a new right back as well. Now you don't have to do this. You've got Dubois who'll be starting for you, Raphael, and also Kenny Tate as well. Kenny is only 23 years old and has 76 for his overall. He's got 80 potential as well, so if you want to do so, you can have him as your backup right back, save your cash, and just have him as your secondary option for Dubois, who will be starting. But in my opinion, if you can sell him and get around 12 million for him, I wouldn't be against doing it and buying in a better first choice right back for now, who is younger and has higher potential as well. That's what we decided to do. We sold him to Manchester United for 11.75 million, I think it was, so a little bit under what I was hoping for, but still only a 250 grand hit there, but still 11.75 million for Kenny Tate. Again, a very decent backup right back, but you can get better, you can get younger, and that's the key with this Lyon team. It doesn't need a major change in the first season, but if you can just sell on those deadwood defenders and bring in younger and better replacements, I definitely would recommend it. Eventually we sold Yanga and Biwa to, I think it was KAA Ghent for around 1.9 mil, but eventually we managed to sell him. It took an age to get this guy out of the club, but finally he decided to leave. And as you'll notice in just a moment's time, after the sale of Kenny Tate to to Manchester United as well for 11.75 million. We decided to buy that better starting right back to have Dubois coming off the bench. And the two targets I would recommend primarily with Lyon, unfortunately, I was unable to get. Now, those two right backs are Lucas Klostermann of RB Leipzig, the German, with fantastic stats, 6'2", and seems very versatile as well. Looks though with his defensive stats, he could play all across the back line. And also Hector Bellerin of Arsenal as well. Now, sadly, in my save, they both moved on to different clubs. Klostermann went to Liverpool, and Hector Bellerin stayed in London, but went to West Ham. So those are my two main targets I would recommend there, Klostermann and Bellerin. Sadly, I couldn't get either. But the third option I had was Konrad Laimer of RB Leipzig. Now, you'll notice this guy actually has holding midfield as his position and not right back. But right back is, I believe, his third listed position, and it's a secondary position regardless. We can play there. He spent time playing there in real life, and I'm a massive fan of this guy in real life. Now, he's got medium high work rate, so he tracks back and works hard on defense. He's got really well balanced physical stats. He's got bags of energy, legs for days, and great technical stats as well in the defensive stats too. You can get this guy for under £20 million with a small sell-on clause as well. His wages aren't too expensive either, around £40,000 to £50,000 a week. And again, whilst it does say holding mid is his listed position, there's no reason why you can't play him as a right back, as it's listed in there. And again, he spent time playing there in real life as well. Ultimately though, his versatility is one of the most appealing parts of his game as well. You can play him through the holding mid in his natural position. He's got great passing stats and interception stat as well, or play him right back. Really, the choice is yours. You want to have this guy playing as a starting holding mid and drop Bruno Guimaraes to the bench and keep Dubois as your starting right back. You can do that if you wish to do so, or you can play him right back. The choice is yours. Whether holding mid or right back, this guy will be good enough to go right into your first 11, improve it. It depends on where you want to play him. It's totally up to you. But in my opinion, I'd start him at right back. He's got the pace to play there and the technical versatility too, to bolster up your back line and join Upamecano and also Dinier as two starters in your back four. So in the end, with Lyon, we sold 5 Deadwood players for £35.5 million and signed 3 players, just 3, for a whopping £74.5 million. Yes, it was a very expensive transfer window for those 3 players, but again, with Lyon, you've got the cash, and all you want to do is make the side younger, better. You do that with those 3 signings, and they all bolster the back line and the defensive positions too. That's the weakest area of Lyon's team in the first season in FIFA career mode. So once you've got a new left back, a new centre back, and if you've got the cash as well, a new right back as well, you are set. You don't need a major overhaul with Lyon. They've already got great young talent. Just a couple of little tweaks here and there, and you're set up better for now and for the future as well. So as per usual, we'd simulate the end of the season and see how Lyon will get on in their debut year with us in charge, with the 3 new signings coming in. Could we hit those 3 very reasonable expectations from the board of finishing in the top 3, reaching the last 16 of the Coupe Nationale, and reaching the knockout stage of the Champions League? Well, as you can see, we did indeed hit the league objective, and I must say this was so frustrating, man. Now, this Lyon team has got enough quality to challenge Paris Saint-Germain for the league and title, no doubt about it. It's a really good side in the game, but despite ending up with 99 points, winning 32 games out of 38, we still ended up finishing up runners-up to Paris Saint-Germain, who won the league with 104 points, winning 34 out of 38 games. Unbelievable. Any other year and that gives us the title, but sadly, such is the lopsidedness of the league tables in this year's FIFA career mode. It was only good enough for a 2nd place finish. So disappointing. But either way, we still hit the league objective regardless, pushing PSG almost every step of the way. We also reached the Coupe de la Ligue final. It doesn't count towards the objective, but also always nice to see where we got on. And we were knocked out in the final on penalties. We lost to Paris Saint-Germain. I hadn't processed enough, or simulated enough, I should say, through to the Coupe Nationale final. But this was actually quite disappointing. We were knocked out by Le Mans in the round of 16. So whilst we did hit the cup objective, I must say that was quite disappointing now. I would have thought for sure we should at least target a quarter-final place or maybe a semi, but instead knocked out in the last 16 by Le Mans. Quite disappointing, even though we did still hit our cup objective. And as for the Champions League, we also hit this objective as well. We were knocked out by Bayern Munich, who they themselves got to the semi-finals in the Champions League. We're knocked out in the last 16. That's all the boards say in the first season, man. Get through your group with Leipzig, Benfica, and Ostersunds as well. And you'll be pleasing the board in that regard. By the way, the Coupe Nationale was won by PSG. Shock horror, so they completed a domestic treble in the game. But either way, so despite the disappointing cup run, getting knocked out by Le Mans, it was still technically a success in the cup objective. So we hit all 3 objectives with Lyon, which again really is not a surprise. This is without question one of the most chilled career modes you can do. Lyon have got an amazing amount of young talent right from the get-go in the first season. They got great money to play with, a real stadium, fantastic kits, and low board expectations as well. If you're new to FIFA career mode, this is probably one of the starter teams I could recommend for you guys. For any new players out there, this is one of the best starter teams you can manage. They're already well set up for you. You just need to make a little tweak here and there. And again, there's very low expectations on you in the very first season. So you see by the stats here, Dinier grew by 2 ratings in the first season to 85 overall, looking amazing, as did Deo Upamecano, as did Konrad Laimer as well, growing 2 ratings in the first season. Love the technical stat improvements here on our Austrian midfielder slash right back. So all 3 of our new signings being ever present in the first 11 and growing 2 ratings apiece as well. And you see, when you look at the team here, almost every single player grew ratings in the very first season, because again, it's such a young team, it's such a fun team, and I couldn't recommend Lyon enough for a FIFA 20 career mode. They are just so fun to manage. So many great young talents here already. Lots of money. I love the kits, and the low expectations from the board as well is the icing on the cake. I would definitely say in the first season you've got enough talent to challenge PSG for their crown in French football, but if you can't do it in season 1, then definitely target it in season 2. Trying to topple PSG, become the most dominant side in France, it might seem like a daunting task, but you've got the talent, you've got the money. All you need to do is be smart with your business and just keep making the side younger and better as well. But that was today's episode of the Sign For, guys. A big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Had a lot of fun rebuilding this Lyon team. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Who to Sign For very soon.